you doing? I hope you're having a damn great day. Welcome back to the channel, and today we'll be talking about Ange Ball. That's right, Ange Postecoglou and Spurs. They've had a great start to the season. They've gone and they've basically taken the expectations and then thrown them out the door. They've said, you know what, we're here to do our thing and we're going to do it to the best that we can. So you know what, fair play to them. They have also gone with the 4-2-3-1 formation, which from my previous Ange Postecoglou video, I said, you know, they're going to go with the 4-3-3 because that's what he used at Celtic majority of the time. But with this, they've gone with the 4-2-3-1. So we will be talking about those tactics. But before we do, and before, you know, I hop on into this even further, can you do me the biggest favor? Hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. That would be fantastic. So we're going to hop on right on into this with Son up front as the centre forward. He can play on the wing, and the instructions will be very similar to his counterparts Brennan Johnson and Kulusevski if he does play on the wing, but I've gone with him to be the centre forward because why? I think he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. We've got Madison just in behind, we've got Brennan Johnson and Kulusevski on the wings, and then we've got Basuma and Sarr as the double pivot. They have done an incredible job, might I say. We've got Van der Ven and Romero, also a very good job. They've done a flippin' amazing job, in fact, in the defense. And then we've got Poro and Udogi, also amazing. And then we've got Vicario in goals. And then on the bench in the substitutes department, we've got Richarlison, Solomon, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Foster, Royale, and then Davies. And then in the reserves, we've got Skip, Perisic, Phillips, Gill, and a few others I don't care to mention. So for the formation, I've gone with the 4-2-3-1 wide, but what I have done is I've brought the fullbacks just more narrow so that they can get into the midfield a bit more, they can invert and make those underlapping runs effectively. But at the same time, with the instructions that they have, they will also be able to overlap the wingers in certain moments. So we've got one goalkeeper, two centre-backs, two fullbacks, two DMs, one cam, two wingers, and then one striker. Now with Ange Ball, they like to press off the loss of possession, and they do it very, very effectively, very well as a unit, compact, nice and strong, pressing up against the opposition's defensive line at times, making sure that they're forced into errors or potentially losing the ball at some point. Now for the team width, I've gone with the 55 because it's a nice, happy medium, a well-balanced team. Whether they want to be spread out or compact, they can do either or, and they will try and clog those passing lanes, cut out the opposition's offensive build-up, and then potentially counter-attack and potentially score goals. So for the depth, we've got it set to a nice high 85. I'm debating between an 85 and like a 75. The 75 is more of a high mid block, you could say, whereas an 85 is a nice high line. And I haven't really been able to come to the standpoint of it's 85 or it could be 75. So play around with that, but I've gone with 85 for argument's sake. For the Arsenal game above me, I went with 85, and I think the high line did a very, very good job. It also allows your fullbacks to be a bit more involved when you do tend to counter-attack because their starting position is a lot higher up. So that's why, again, it's another positive for the 85 depth. As for the build-up play, I've gone with a balanced approach because they can look to slow things down, just, you know, control the phases of play, control the game, or they can look to try and speed things up, which is what they did against Arsenal more times than not, and it was a fantastic game nonetheless. They played very, very well, and some might say, that they probably deserve to win that game. So, you know, it is what it is, but for the offensive build-up play, I've gone with a more of a balanced approach. And then for the chance creation, again, also more balanced. You can have it set to, you know, long ball or possession-based football or forward runs. I want a more dynamic approach for the Spurs team. You do have the likes of Son, who can make those runs from behind. You do have the likes of Madison, who can supply those balls over the top or those more direct passes into the forward line or the wingers. So that's why I've gone with a balanced approach for both the offensive styles. Then, for the width, I've gone with a 70. You want your midfield nice wide spread out. You want your fullbacks, even though they do have a narrow starting position, the fullbacks also will tend to spread out just ever so slightly a bit more, and that's what you want in terms of creating space and pace for the team going forward. And then we have got plays in the box. I've set it to 5. It's a nice balanced approach. You will have Son and potentially James Madison, or potentially a winger making that deep run into the box, potentially looking for the cross that will be fired in. But James Madison, he will either be in the box or in and around the box, trying to dictate the pace of play, make sure that he's being the playmaker, waiting for that final third ball to try and exploit the defense. And then in terms of corners and free kicks, as per always, it is set to 4. So between the sticks, we've got Vicario, a man that many questioned when he came in. And you know what? The Brentford game, he did not look good. Can I just say that? He was like very shaky, claiming balls, dropping balls, not very good. But I think with time, he will get better, like I said in my previous video. And you know what? 5 games later, he has looked absolutely amazing, fantastic. So he, with the ball at his feet, looks very, very good, which is why I've gone for him to be the sweeper keeper. And especially in the Arsenal game, he did claim a few crosses in the air and he looked very, very sturdy. And you know what, fantastic for him, which is why I've gone with comfort crosses as well. As for Romero and Van de Ven, same. They will set to their basic defensive instructions. And then we've got our fullbacks, Udogie and Pora. They have the same set of instructions as well. Both are set to have a balanced... Nope, I lied. Both are set to join the attack. I don't know why that was not set. Yeah, okay, so Poro, he's got the right instructions. Both are set to join the attack. You want them being as involved in the attack as possible, as much as possible anyway. But for their run type, I've gone with a mixed approach. Now, because they have a very narrow starting point, they will look to get forward and invert a bit more than what they would on the overlap. So that's what you're trying to create, because Ange, he likes the inverting fullbacks. He likes to flood the midfield with an extra body, whether it's Poro or Udogie at times. And they do a very, very good job, might I say. And then in terms of the defensive position, I have it set to stick to position for both of them. So, you know, just forget that I didn't have this set to join the attack. But, again, join the attack, run type, and then stick to position as well for Udogie. Then moving on into the midfield, we've got Sarr here set to tight mark. I have been trying this out. I know it didn't really work in FIFA, but you know what? I think it works slightly more and slightly better. He will be able to then track them in, making those runs into your box and being able to track the opposition's most, I would say, their most offensive player. So you want Sarr in that role, I should say. And then he's also set to get forward. So he will be a bit more of the box-to-box, linking the defense to the offense, linking the defensive midfielder to the attacking midfielder at times if Madison chooses to not drop deeper. So like I said, he's going to be the box-to-box, and he does that role very, very well. Interceptions are set to normal, and then we've got him set to stick to position and cover the wing as well. Then we've got Bissouma. Bissouma has been a revelation this season, might I say. Cut passing lanes, of course. Stay back while attacking. You want him to somewhat drop into that back four at times, collecting the ball off of the goalkeeper or even the two centre backs and then driving it on forward and just adding another layer of defensive presence to that back line in more situations than none. Normal interceptions are set to be on. You can go with aggressive, but it does tend to leave him out of position because he's chasing the ball too much. And then he is set to be the deep line playmaker. Bissouma against Arsenal, he ran the absolute socks off of the Arsenal team. He was fantastic. He ran all the way from the back. He was almost a quarterback at times, especially when the likes of Declan Rice went off. Everybody's saying, oh, but Declan Rice went off, so Bissouma, you know, by standard he should. But no. He was very, very good, and he's been very, very good. So, you know what? Fantastic. Deep line playmaker, that's his role going forward. And then, speaking of going forward, we've got Madison. He is set to come back on defense, stay on the edge of the box, free roam. You do want him to have that ability to pick up those little pockets of space, allowing for the likes of Kulusevski or potentially Johnson to run into the other little pockets of space that also open up around the box. And then he's also set to have normal interception. So James Maddison, he's your chief creator, especially in that final third. You want him on the ball in that almost on the edge of the box, making things happen, having play tick over quite well, circulating play, and then potentially finding that killer ball. Then going up wide, we've got Kulusevski. He is set to come back on defense, stay wide more times than not. You want your wings to hold the width in the team. Like I say, sometimes the fullbacks will make the overlapping run, but more times than not, they will make the underlapping inverted run, creating space for your wingers more times than not. But getting in behind, exploiting that space, that is the main job of the two wingers going forward. And then normal interceptions and getting to the box. You want both of them making those late runs into the back post areas of the goal, potentially getting onto the end of crosses. So yes, and then as for Johnson, as you can see here, he's got the same set of instructions. And even if Son does play, even if Son does play, I would still go with the same set of instructions and potentially just altering the defensive support to have a bit more of a balanced approach. That way he won't always be helping back on defense. You would probably want Son to stay slightly higher up the field for those potential counter-attacks and the offensive movements going forward. But speaking of Son, as the striker, he is set to drift wide, so he will be operating in the wider areas, potentially latching onto those loose balls that do get fired in behind the defensive line. He will chase them down and start most of the attacks from a wider angled region of the field. So that's his main role. He's not going to be the out-and-out Erling Haaland type centre forward, making runs, headering the ball into the back of the net. He's more or less ball to feet, little interchanging passes here and there. So that's why I've set him to drift wide and get in behind. And then as for the interceptions, it's going to be set to normal. And then the basic defensive support is essential because you don't really want him to stay forward and be the focal point. You want him to sometimes just drop off, pulling defenders out of position in certain moments, but you don't want him to do it all the time. You want him to somewhat also be the outlet ball, which is why I've gone with a nice happy medium, balanced, flat bang, down in the middle. And then just say for argument's sake, you do end up starting the likes of Richarlison he will have this set of instructions set to having a balanced width, so he will sometimes make those arcing runs in and out, but he will take up the centre forward mantle more times than not, being that focal point down the middle, waiting for the crosses to be whipped into him. He is more of the archetypal centre forward. I don't know if I've said that correctly, but he's more of a centre forward than what the likes of Human Son is. But nonetheless, his attacking runs are set to having a mixed approach, so he will make those runs in behind sometimes, and sometimes he will also look to try and back into the defense, circulate the play into him, having more players involved with him holding the ball up and then flicking it onto them. And then in terms of their interception, he will be set to having an aggressive approach. He'll try and lead that front line, that press from the front, and he's very, very good at doing so, might I say. And then in terms of his defensive support, he is set to come back on defense, which is why I'm going to explain to you why I put this. Because what I have noticed was with Richarlison, he likes starting a lot of the play on the edge of the box himself and then making that run inside. And he wants him more or less hanging around the edge of the box more times than not. Starting the little 1-2 pass, interchanging play with the attacking midfielder or the wingers, and then advancing into the centre of the attacking area. So that's why I've gone with him to come back on defence. So yes, my dudes, that is my version of Ange Ball, the 4-2-3-1 Ange Postecoglou tactics in EA FC 24. Like I say, if you have already, well done. But if you haven't, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new, and might I say as well, if Ange Postecoglou does play his 4-3-3, I will be there. You know I will be there, but I will be there to make those tactics as well. But until the next time, I hope you have a damn great day. I'm out.